Greetings, my unbelievable V family all over the world. This is your chief back week 21 for my Wednesday message. Firstly, reminder, it is rank advancement week. So if you're silver, push to gold. If you're gold, push to sapphire, sapphire to platinum, platinum to diamond, and diamond, please push even harder to blue diamond. So week 21 is rank advancement week. Wake everyone up, refocus on rank advancement. Secondly, it's the last week of the Rise, Raise, Repeat Bonanza, where QNet is offering some of the most attractive bonuses for you guys to do direct referrals. Help your direct referrals find their two. All right, there's leadership bonus, there's direct bonus. It's simply unbelievable. So this week, week 21, I gave a challenge on my Instagram live, and I'm telling all of you guys, my V family, Dato Sri Vijay's warriors, all around the world. Week 21, I promise my uplines, Japadas Bismarck and Dato Sri Vijay, that we are going to create a record, all right, around the world. Now, guys, all right, this is week 21, and again, I want to share two important points of my Wednesday message, and I want you to listen very carefully. Now, over the past 7.5 years, I've always conveyed something on my Wednesday message, which I hope adds value to your organization, that the Wednesday message is part of your system, because I've always believed, and I've learned this from Dato Sri Vijay, that as an upline, you need to expose your organization to a multitude of messages, because sometimes your message, and if you are the only one speaking to your downlines, after a while, the effectiveness, human nature, will not be as effective, because they hear you every day. So once a week, let them listen to the most gorgeous upline, with the exception of Japa and Dato Sri, of course, the one and only chief, your upline. All right, trying to instill a different perspective. Okay, and this week I want to talk about two things. Okay, firstly, understanding your team. This is fundamentally important. And secondly, is a sense of urgency. All right, and these are two things I want to talk about based on my interaction with all the leaders around the world, and I want to communicate it on this Wednesday message. Now, what is understanding your team? I think, and Dato Sri Vijay always highlights this, and I've shared a module on this actually. It is far more important to understand than to be understood. Now, human nature forces us, all right, to have the desire to be understood. That means you want people to understand you. You want people to understand your intent, your messaging, your expectation from them. But we, after a while, reach a point of arrogance, all right, of full cup, where we no longer seek to understand the people in our organization. And the day you stop understanding the people, your downlines, all right, your leaders, your uplines, your family, your spouse, husband or wife, or even your parents, that's the way, that's that moment you lose that connection. All right, and it's very dangerous. And Dato Sri warned me 23 years ago, Padma, never reach a point where you want to be understood, but you stop trying to understand people or where they are coming from. And I realize this is a fundamental mistake all networkers make. Even if you are brand new in this business, all right, and you got one or two downlines, and you are so hungry for them to listen to you, all right, and to embrace what you are saying and shut up, listen and do, that you don't take the time and effort to understand them. And what happens, the longer this continues, you will lose your people. They may exist in your organization, they may do what the system tells them to do because they have dreams and they want to achieve their dreams, but you lose them. And the minute you lose the connection with your network, then everything you say and do is like water off a duck's back. Have you heard that statement? That if you pour water on a duck's back, it just slides off. Because the duck has a waterproof thing in their feathers. Alright? So you may think you are communicating effectively to your downlines, but they have stopped listening. They have stopped learning. Because they feel you don't care to understand them. That you are too fast to brush aside what they feel. And human nature, everyone wants to have an upline who listens, who cares, who understands where they are coming from. Alright? And this is one thing you must always do. That you must keep your finger on the pulse of your organization. You need to know everything about your downlines and especially your leadership. Alright? Because I have always learned, and I watched Dato Sri do this, alright, for years. Whenever I go and sit down with him, he would ask me some very basic questions and wait for me to answer, because he needs to know my state of mind before he can train, mentor, or address me. Alright? And I practice this skill to the best of my ability. There's no use for me to address something that you don't want to hear. That is not your need for the moment. So to all of you, even if you have one downline, take the effort to understand what they are feeling, whether they have fear, whether they are going through a personal challenge. Because if I bring you for a counsel upline session, but you are going through a terrible personal challenge, and I immediately address networking things I expect from you, without understanding what you're going through, do you think that person is going to listen? Alright? And I always tell people, when you start a conversation, and I said this on my Instagram live, how are you? Are you okay? Because what's the use of training somebody who's not in the state of mind to embrace your training? What's the point of giving them a TAT, alright, if they're not in a state of mind to even attempt that TAT for that week, because they are going through a personal challenge. So this week, guys, focus on understanding your people, their state of mind, where they are in their journey of life and their journey of networking. That if you have somebody who hasn't earned a check for 10 weeks, alright, there's no use hammering them and giving them an unreasonable TAT which they cannot achieve anyhow, because the last 10 weeks their check is zero. You need to sit down with them and understand what they are going through that has created this zero result for 10 weeks. Nobody should have zero checks for 10 weeks. That means something is fundamentally wrong. And by giving them a new target, giving them a higher target, without addressing what they are feeling, is counterproductive. So sometimes I believe that in network marketing, we want to make everything fast. Network marketing is not a McDonald's or a Burger King or a franchise where the food is done very fast. Network marketing is an Italian connoisseur restaurant where you know the chef, you know exactly what's going into your food. There's conversation at the dinner. The chef comes and asks you, how's your meal? It's an overall beautiful experience. So you're not running a fast food chain. You are running a gourmet restaurant which has personal touch, where you know exactly what your customer wants. Alright, where you know exactly whether they're allergic to tomatoes or onions or whatever, and you exactly know what they ate last week. And that personal connection, understanding your downline, understanding your leader, alright, and creating a message that is adapted for them on a personal level is highly effective. And I believe today a lot of networkers are making the mistake of trying to convert their network into a fast food restaurant. Don't do that. Because the minute you lose that personal touch, the minute you don't value the power of relationship, the minute you think being understood is more important than understanding that person, alright? And that's when you lose your network. And that's when people are surprised after 6 months that their network productivity has dropped and people are leaving because you don't understand your leaders and downlines anymore. So I remember in the early days, and those of you who have been with me, you remember this. We used to spend hours and hours together. All right? We knew each other's families, kids, what everyone is going through at a personal level. We were family, guys. And Dato Sri Vijay used to spend hours with me until today. All right? Because network marketing is not only business. It's family. It's a long-term journey, guys. And for that journey to be powerful and beautiful, you need to understand the people who came into your life. You need to take the effort to know that they're human. They have good days. They have bad days. They have fantastic results and sometimes a long stretch with no results, which will be emotionally difficult for them. And there could be a personal reason why they're not creating the results. But if you don't ask, you will not know. So don't instruct, talk, have conversations. And the greatest lesson I take back from Dato Sri Vijay, and I want to remind you today on this Wednesday message, it is far more important to understand the people around you than the need for you to be constantly only understood. And write this on your mirror. It's far more important to understand than to be understood. And this week, practice this. Understand everyone in your organization. Then you know how to strategize. Then you know how to communicate with your people. That's very important. And my second message is a mantra Dato Sri did at one VCon called Do It Now. And I am realizing today that this COVID pandemic around the world is creating mixed messaging in people's mind. Some people have a sense of urgency because they understand how fragile life is. And some people are total opposite and they say, oh, life is like this, what to do? Relax, enjoy the more important things in life. So there's mixed messaging. There's some people who suddenly say, money is not important. I want to spend time with my family because anytime I could die. And there's some people who say, oh, I may die, I better make sure my family is secure. But now this is your chief giving you a serious wake-up call. All right? That you need a sense of urgency right now, more than ever, to build your business. Because if life is so fragile, then you need to leave a sense of security behind for your family. And I'm confused. Every week, when I talk to people on WhatsApp all over the world, I realize that many of them are just not speaking the language of a sense of urgency. All right? And Dato Sri used to tell me that if you went to a doctor and the doctor said you got 6 months to live, how would you lead your life? And he asked me as a networker. I said, I will go out and do as many presentations as I can and make sure I find a Dato Sri Vijay on my left, a Japa on my right, a Arun on my left, a Adli on my right, a Sati on my left, a David on my right. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that the tracking center which I'm leaving behind for my family is a max out tracking center. I'm not going to spend the last 6 months of my life holding hands with my family and singing Kumbaya like some people may think, because that is selfish. That I need you this week, week 21, to have a sense of urgency. That the master plan, all right, does not guarantee how many days, how many weeks, how many months, how many years you have. That you have this 24 hours, guys. And I remember reminding all of you that I lived my life today by hour. I used to live by week, I used to live by year, then by month, then by week, then by day. But now I maximize every hour. I maximize it. Because I know that waking up tomorrow morning can only be permitted by Him. As Dato Sri Vijay reminded me, live like today is your last day, but plan as though you want to live for 100 years. But live like today is your last day. If today is your last day, how many presentations would you do? What would you tell your leaders? What foundation would you prioritize to leave behind? So a sense of urgency is lacking in all of you, because you think you can procrastinate. You think you can postpone so many things that you can do today. The great lesson Dato Sri taught me the other day. What you can do in 1 minute, don't take 1 hour. What you can do in 1 hour, don't take the whole day. What you can do today, don't wait until Friday. Are you guys with me? So whoever you are listening to me, I'm speaking to you as a brother, as your chief, as your upline, representing the great ones, Japa and Dato Sri Vijay. Do it now. Have a sense of urgency. Because if you don't have a sense of urgency, your whole network will slow down. So the question you have to ask yourself, and I'm asking you this, if you have 2 downlines, 20 downlines, 20,000 downlines, all right? If 10 is a sense of urgency, higher sense of urgency, higher sense of productivity, where are you right now? Please don't say 9. Because if you say 9, that means I know who you are. That means you are talking to me on WhatsApp every day as a mega max out king or queen. If you're 1 or 2, wake up. If you're 5, wake up. You need to increase the sense of urgency in your organization. You need to seriously believe in this message from Dato Sri to do it now. Now the habit of every networker is, okay, I'll wait until Friday. Why? Why waste Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Why have the luxury of arrogance in your mind that you're going to be around on Friday? What gives you that guarantee? Where did you get this arrogance from? Do it now, guys. Raise the sense of urgency in your organization and don't talk about it. Show it. Monkey see, monkey do. You as an upline, even to one downline. If you live your life with a sense of urgency, it will naturally rub off on your downlines. I guarantee you this. That means if you live with me for 1 day, you will have a sense of urgency. I spend 1 hour on the phone with Dato Sri and I have a sense of urgency for the next 1 week with no sleep. So a sense of urgency is what you need. And this week, 2 messages. Understand more than the need to be understood. Because you're dealing with people. When you understand them, you can guide them, lead them better. And the second thing, remove the arrogance that you will wake up tomorrow morning and live today to the fullest with the highest sense of urgency. Love you guys.